Guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're making a speed build for LegitKawaii's house contest that she posted on her YouTube channel. If you guys don't know her, she's a sweet girl from Australia, I believe, and I've been watching her videos for a while now. And actually, she's the reason why I started my YouTube channel is because she kind of inspired me and um, yeah, so right now she has a contest going on her channel, and I wanted to give it a try, especially since I've been building a lot lately. And I wanted to go with the traditional family style because when you think of family, especially if it's like a hunch baby challenge, you wanna, I don't know, I just felt like the whole traditional suburban house feel was appropriate for it. And I know that her last house that she used was the same style. So I wanted to keep that in there, but then I wanted to take my own twist on it. I also took inspiration from the new Get Together expansion pack with all the vines and stuff like that. So I knew I wanted to incorporate that in the front of the house as well as the back of the house. But since it was New Crest, I wanted to keep it modern. Like have it modern, but not, too modern with the big windows and everything. So I was kind of just going for like the suburban feel. So right now I am deciding on what kind of wallpaper to use, and it took me a while to figure out what kind of color scheme I wanted to go with because I don't know, there's just so much colors, and I mean I was looking at a reference picture while I was doing this, and I don't know, I was just like, okay, I was thinking at first maybe brown, like light brown. I wanted to go with a color that matches the stone on the wall. And I kept having to fix the house, and I realized that if you look at that one corner of the house, it didn't have that white line, and it was bothering me. And no matter what I changed it to, it wasn't there. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna switch it into a different color. And here I'm just like continuously trying to make it look nice. And I ended up making the garage because I feel like since all my houses in Newcrest have a garage. I wanted to keep the same style. Sorry. And here I am, just putting the roof touches on the roof. I kept going back and forth on which roof design I liked the best, and I felt like white standed out the most. And this is the next part where I was trying very hard to choose out windows. For some reason, I couldn't choose a window that matched the style of it, and I just took me forever, like literally forever to figure out which kind of window I wanted to use. Like none of the windows matched, and nothing was going in my favor. And I liked that window I had a second ago, but I ended up going with these two windows. And in just a second, you'll see me, hopefully, in just a second, you'll see me finally decide on those two windows that I used. The arc window is from the new expansion pack. And yeah, I just kept playing around with the windows, trying to figure out which one I wanted to use, and it wasn't turning out the way I wanted it to, sadly. I kept trying out so many different windows, and eventually I got it, and then I realized that the side of the house where I wanted to put the door wasn't equal. I wanted to have it in the middle. I don't know. It's like one of my pet peeves when stuff aren't in the middle, or if things aren't symmetrical, and that's just me. And then I was trying to figure out what windows to put, and then I like those two windows, but then I knew that there was like a balcony that I could put, and I wanted to incorporate that. But right now, I'm just choosing the tile floor for the walkway and the driveway. I ended up not knowing what to do, so I just went with this. And I was kind of copying the next door house that this house is right by. They have a like a little garden in the front with a lot of plants, and I wanted to do that style, and I also wanted to incorporate some of the new plants that were in the expansion pack. And as you can see, I kept placing a lot of different plants, and I wanted to go with like blues and whites and yellows, but um I ended up not putting this many flowers because I thought it looked too much. It looked a lot. It didn't feel like it suited the theme. So I ended up deleting this right after. I didn't like it. Yeah, I tried doing the whole rock thing. For some reason, when other people do rocks, it looks nice, but when I do it, it doesn't look pretty. So I ended up just trying to figure out what I can do to make it look nice. I knew I wanted to put a balcony. I like that balcony. I've never used it before in my game, but it sadly didn't fit. It didn't fit the right criteria that I wanted, and then I ended up doing this vine thing. I see a lot of people do this type of vine thing, but I'm not. It was like my first time trying to do it, and I thought I did pretty good at it. And I went with blue and white to tone down with the gray to match with it, and I ended up really liking it. It looks really nice. It suits the house. And then I was just figuring out what else I could decorate. I ended up using that balcony. Sadly, I couldn't put a door because there was not enough space to put the door. It was not in the center like how I want it to be centered. And at this point, I was just trying to figure out, okay, what kind of tile can I use? You know, what looks nice. And I tried doing the whole spraying thing too, but it just didn't look right. And then I knew I wanted to put some sort of fence. I didn't know what kind of fence to put around the house, and I ended up going with this tile. And at first, I wanted to do the whole bush since it went along with the outside, and I ended up changing it to, I think, the new expansion fence that we got. And I also wanted to put a fence, sorry, a gate, but it also wasn't centered and it just kept bothering me. So I was just like, okay, I'll just not incorporate it. I was so sad. I wanted to incorporate a fence. I'm sorry. I wanted to incorporate a gate, but it just wasn't working the way I wanted to. And I'm actually really proud of myself because I spent so much time. No, not really. I spent like a good 3 hours making this house, but I was actually really trying my hardest to stay within the budget. As you can see, I have the lot value at the top, and so I could keep track of how much money I was spending. And I started off, and I think it was a 30 by 20 lot. So I knew that if I built on a small lot, I would have a lot of leftover room to um, money to build, like to use the stuff. And I knew that if I were to build like on a 50 by 50 lot, I would have so much space. And with only 100,000 simoleons, that's like not enough money. So I knew I had to budget. Um, One thing that I hate about making houses is probably doing the windows, especially on the slide, because when you're making the rooms, I like to have like the bed in the center, or like a bed and then the window right next to it. And I like everything symmetrical. So I mean, as you can see here, you can kind of see that all the windows are symmetrical and nothing's like out of place. And I don't know, it just bothers me if it's not like that. I don't know why. I'm just a weird builder. Um so yeah, now I'm just working on the exterior, the backyard specifically, and I wish I had more room in the backyard, but since it's a small lot, I didn't have enough room. And I also wanted to continue the whole garden and vines throughout the backyard, and I thought that'd be like a nice touch to the backyard. um I put some stairs, and this I know that there's a raised foundation, and it's actually the sim can actually walk on it. And I put trees at first. I ended up having to take it out because I think at one point I was over budget, and I just kept having to delete stuff and rearrange things, or I had to downsize. Like, for instance, when we get to the kitchen part, I didn't even have enough to make upstairs because of how expensive I made the kitchen. So I had to go back and delete the kitchen and finish upstairs and then go back and do the kitchen. And it was kind of sad, but I was like, well, eventually I'm pretty sure if she were to use this house or if I were to play in this house, I could just upgrade as I play the house. Sorry, I'm losing my words. Upgrade as I play the game. Um, so yeah, I just kept it very simple in the backyard. I put in a grill, a place for them to eat, and then I also put monkey bars, which is also from the new pack. And I really like it. I think it suits the whole theme of the house with the vines and everything. And in the front, I wanted to put lights. I like the idea of doing the whole lantern, like I'll enlarge the lantern and then make it do different sizes. So it looks like there's like different sizes. I don't know, I just thought it was really cool. And then now we're finally getting into the house. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to have a garage, but it was honestly it took too much space, so I ended up like scratching a lot of the stuff that I was thinking of, and I deleted a lot of my ideas that I originally had because I was running out of money, and it was actually I made quite a big house on a small lot, and especially the stuff I was buying also factored into it. So for the house, I wanted to keep it a neutral color. I always like going with the gray. I feel like gray is always a nice color to neutralize it. And I really wanted to make the kitchen, living room, and dining room all together. So it has like that open family space. Um, I just feel like if you have it blocked off and, it's not really like interacting, like you can't interact with your family when they're cooking or when you're watching TV or doing homework or something like that. So that's what it made me think of, and it made me want to just combine everything together. And this is what I mean by when I made the kitchen look really expensive. I really wish I could have kept it this way. I never really build with dark colors, but I wanted to try it for this one. I wanted to see if it would work, but unfortunately, the counters were too expensive, and since I had too many of them, I couldn't use them in this build. And you'll see me delete it later on. I changed it to a white, so that the house looked more brighter instead of dark. And I also did change the flooring. At first it was this black one, and then I ended up changing it to like a tannish, a light tan color. However, I did keep the carpet and the couches and everything, but I did change the color of the carpet. As we get into the video later on, you'll see me change the color, and I thought that was the perfect space for a desk, but unfortunately, I also did delete that space, and I ended up making a whole new room to put a new office place. Yeah, so I was just trying to find ways to use up the space. I knew that since I wanted to combine the dining, living, and kitchen area, I knew that it was going to be such a big area. Um, and right now I'm just building the playroom. It doesn't have like all the toys, like it doesn't have the toy box and stuff, but I wanted to incorporate the llama table and some of the toys that I saw, and I just enlarged some of it and then incorporated the little bunny over there. And then I think I was just decorating, trying to find things to put on the, what do you call those? the the shelves? No. The end tables? Yeah, the end tables, sorry. And yes, I wanted to use things that look like it belonged in a family home, you know? But then I also wanted to keep it decorative. Like I wanted to make sure that it had my taste in it, but also I knew that I also wanted to incorporate some of the things that Kawaii liked, or some things that she's mentioned in the past in her videos. And I, recall her liking that calendar thing because she said it completed her Sims house. And I was like, yeah. So I made sure to put that in there. And I think I'm working on the upstairs. At this point, I was already at 85,000. I was like, okay, I have at least like less than 20K. I was like, how am I supposed to incorporate all these bedrooms, and I'm not even sure. So I was like panicking at this point. I just took up the basic gray again, put upstairs, and then I knew I wanted to do each room a different color. So I went with pink, yellow, like a tealish blue, and then I went with like a not really a dark blue, it's like kind of like a sky blue. And then for the main character, I made it lavender. I wasn't really sure. I didn't want to do full on pink because I knew I wanted to do boy and girls room, which was pink and then blue. And then I actually made a baby room too. So I made that one yellow. Yellow for happiness. And so I tried to incorporate beds, as much beds as I can, but I didn't want to make it look crowded at the same time. And I wanted to put more decoration, but it was just so stressful trying to figure out what I could put. But since it's a 100 baby challenge, I knew I wanted to put backpacks because I'm pretty sure they'll be going to school. I wanted to put toys. I wanted to, like put things that they would use. But not, I didn't want to put it as if they would be kid forever because obviously they would be growing up. So I made sure not to put too much, like it looked too much like a child's room. Like so, if they were to go from child to teen, it would still work in their favor, and you wouldn't have to redecorate as much. And as you can see, I was starting to delete some of the stuff because I was running out of money. Um, I didn't have enough time to sit there and ponder, okay, what can I delete? So I was just like practically just deleting whatever I could. And at this point, I was just trying to focus on making a different room. I knew I wanted to incorporate two baby beds just in case she has twins. I'm not sure if she just had twins. I'm not like for sure watching the series to be honest. I just watch it every now and then. So I haven't really watched from the start, but every now and then I'll watch it. But I knew that I wanted to build a house. Like I thought that was so cool that I could build a house, and you know, just the thought of her looking at it means a lot to me too. Um, and I think at this point I was trying to figure out what I could delete that could give me more money, and I knew that having so many rooms and having to decorate within those rooms was costing a lot of money. And I was really sad. I really wanted to make the downstairs bathroom really nice, but I couldn't because of the money issues. So I ended up having to scratch the whole idea, and I had to choose the cheaper stuff, which I didn't want to do. I wanted to use the expensive stuff, but I couldn't. Oh yeah, I did end up putting a fireplace. I thought that was a nice touch. I almost forgot to do that actually. I knew I wanted to make it modern, but I didn't want to put one of those older fireplaces. Yeah, and at this point, I was just trying to figure out, okay, where can I put this stuff? How can I maintain the space so that it's not too open and doesn't look like there's a bunch of stuff just everywhere? It was kind of difficult. I kind of had to move a lot of the stuff around to figure out what I wanted to do, how I wanted to separate the space. And you can see here that I was trying really hard to to use the space wisely, but I just ended up scratching the whole kitchen and I started new. I knew I wanted to use one of the cheaper ones, but this one didn't really seem to fit the theme of my kitchen. And then I realized that maybe if I make the house a little bit smaller, that it would be better. But then I didn't want to mess up the outside, so I had to make sure that um, I didn't screw it up. And I also fixed the other side. I ended up closing off the fence. And then here I am just fixing up everything again, trying to figure out where am I going to put this desk and, exactly what am I going to do inside here now that I deleted the old kitchen, even though I really liked it, but it's okay. I think at this point, I took a break at that point. But okay, so my idea at this point, so I was like, okay, I have 20, at least 20K, at least I have. So what can I use that for? So I was like, okay, maybe I'm gonna go finish up the upstairs, make the upstairs look nice, um, personalize the bedroom, and then I'll go downstairs and redo the kitchen. But I'm still gonna make it look nice. I'm not gonna just put stuff there just because it needs to be there, you know? Like when I build, I make sure like I would actually play in it or I would actually use it. Like I don't know, not to diss anyone and their buildings because I know everyone has their own style, but sometimes when I look at houses, I'm kind of like I just like I don't know. It's just sometimes it's funny to me when I look at other people's builds and that I see. I don't know. It's just funny to me. I don't know. I think that's just me. I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't want to like offend anyone, but I don't know. There's a lot of weird builds out there that I see, and I just try to prioritize what's more important and more of. I would say like I'm more into interior designing than exterior designing. Like I want to make sure like when you go into the house, it's like wow, like it looks nice. Obviously, I mean, I would say this house, it was hard to make it that wow factor, but I feel like I did a good job on the outside and the inside to give it that like oh, like this is a nice house. It's not that bad, you know. Um I'm not saying I'm the greatest builder out there, but I would say I did a pretty good job. I think I spent at least 3 hours on this entire build without really taking any breaks, except for that one time. That was a few seconds ago. But yeah, I mean, I ended up doing white in the kitchen. I thought that it complemented the gray, especially since I changed the flooring to a lighter color. It didn't look so dark inside the inside anymore. I wanted to put an oven there. I realized that that light, that overlight, was expensive, so I couldn't use it. I didn't get to put a coffee machine or a popcorn machine or an ice cream machine because of the money. I probably could have in the end. I knew I had a little bit of money left over, but it wasn't a lot that I could use. Yeah, so I ended up moving the dining set and I ended up making a office, like a smaller office, just to use the space. So it didn't look like this bottom floor was really open, you know? Then I realized, okay, well, I have a big wall on that side. And I was thinking, at first I was thinking maybe I could leave it blank because I know that she's taking selfie pictures with it. Or like she takes pictures and then she puts it on the wall. And I guess for now I just put the fish tank there just so that it takes up space. But if she would like, she can always like move it or whatever. Or there's a lot of empty walls, especially upstairs, that she can use. And I think at this point I was just trying to find things to decorate. I knew that her Sims like to decorate and not decorate, I'm sorry, paint. So I wanted to incorporate an easel. I wasn't sure if any of her Sims were into music. I'm not sure if I took it out or not, but I did put like a guitar, but I think I did because of money wise. And then, so yeah, I'm just finishing up the rooms, putting a little bit of decor around. And then I finally finished up the downstairs bathroom. Very simple. I put outside seating as well on the little porch outside and put some plants. And then I changed the color of the carpets. I'm sorry, why did I say carpets? I mean rugs. I can't talk today. And then I started working out on the outside. Then I realized that the house was completely off on the other side and I had to fix it right away. And let's see, I'm just fixing the windows. Okay, and then at this point, I was just putting more of the vines and the flowers. I thought that was a really nice touch on the back. Um, I think I was trying my best to incorporate everything. And I wanted to do the vines on the back as well, on the roof. I mean, not on the roof, but on the side, on the walls, but it just didn't look right. So I ended up taking it out after a while, and I just kind of left it blank. I felt like it looked cleaner that way, the clean look. But I did incorporate the other plants, other flowers, and yeah, I was just making sure the house looked nice. It looked nice to me. I thought I was done. I came out to $99,964. However, if you could see, I did leave one of the spaces on the house blank. Like it had that, I didn't copy and paste the rest of the wallpaper. So there was like this one part of the house that I forgot to put the wallpaper on. But yeah, that is the build. I hope you guys like it. I'm sorry if this video was super, super long. I didn't want it to be long. I wanted to make it into two separate videos, but I was like, time wise, I'm just gonna make it into one video. So yeah, I hope you guys like the build. I hope Kawaii likes it, and yeah, we'll see who she chooses in the end. And if you want to watch my videos, feel free to click on my name. Watch my previous 3 videos. I'm trying to make more videos more often, but I do work and it does take a lot of time. So, with that being said, be sure to hit the subscribe button, follow me on social media, do whatever you like if you like these kinds of videos, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.